What's up, people? In today's video, I'm going to be sharing testimony, okay? Before I share the good news, let's start from the beginning. So, rewind this year, March 2025, we would qualify for indefinite leave to remain. It was roughly around 5 to 6 months for us to qualify for indefinite leave to remain. That is when my husband lost his job. Those of you who have been following me, you would notice that around March, April, most of my content, I was disconnected. In fact, somebody noticed my mood that he pointed it out that, Faith, I have a feeling you're going through a lot, but whatever it is you're going through, God will see you through. So what happened? On the 3rd of March, where the company that was sponsoring my husband's visa made his whole team redundant. It wasn't because he did anything or, so they were restructuring. Those of you who are not in health, these industries restructure a lot. Unlike when you work with the NHS, there's just that stability. Your job is guaranteed, even though the pay is not great. Another thing I want to say is that when you work for an organization, that have a good manager, they didn't tell him, no warning. They just sent an email to everybody that March 31st, you no longer have a job. I was supposed to travel to Australia for my birthday, March 15th. I was supposed to travel to Australia with Von Vicky. Most of you know Von Vicky Talks on YouTube. I was supposed to travel for my birthday on the 15th of March, and this happened on the 3rd. UK immigration thing is that once you have any issue with immigration, visa, do not leave the UK. For no reason you should leave the UK. So at that point, I was like, it did not make any sense to leave the UK. So I cancelled my trip. I cancelled my flights, everything. I lost money because my flight alone was £1,100. So anyway, I started saving all the money I can get. Shout out to my friends. One thing I want to tell you guys is that money is not everything. Investing in humans, it's more important than money, because trust me, there are some kind lowers that you have all the money, but all you need is a human being to talk to. So shout out to my friends, Nos MJ. You all know her on YouTube, MJ TV, Von Vicky Talk, and Ugoma. I wasn't even talking to anybody, to be honest. I was just sad. I was so sad. If you live in Leeds, Manchester, Sheffield, Liverpool, Wakefield, or all the environment around Leeds, guess what? We are officially your new photographer.
We are a Nigerian couple who packed up our life in London
and carried our camera with us all the way to Leeds. We know family moments are everything. The smiles, the hug, the chaos, the love.
And those memories deserve to be frozen in time beautifully.
Next time your little one blows out birthday candles,
or you want to sneak in some romantic couple shots,
we'll be right here.
KorPhotography is now in your city.
Let's make your memories unforgettable. I literally cried every single day. Sometimes when I'll come on YouTube here and shoot content for you guys, I would have cried. And that period, I was like, this is the period we need all the money we can get, so I need to push out content. Imagine when you are so depressed, so sad, that all you want to do is just curl up in bed and sleep. But no, you have to work twice as hard to make money. At that point, since my husband didn't have a job, we were going to rely on my salary. I was working back to back. I was working overtime so I can make a lot of money to cover for rents, to cover for the house until my husband gets a job. I mean, that period I realized that I don't think I want to ever be a single parent, because there are some days I just cried. Nos MJ always called me. There was this day that I told Nos MJ that honestly, with the way I'm feeling, I don't think I want to be in this world anymore. I just want to go. Like, I was so tired and I did some silly stuff. I'm not going to talk about it here. Yeah, Nos MJ and her husband were with me on the phone. They were crying, and Nos MJ literally was crying, don't do it, Faith, don't do it. I was like, I'm tired, I can't. Like, one thing again is I am very emotional, I'm very sensitive. Like, I always say that I don't know how to, emotional pain, I don't know how to deal with. I'd rather you beat me than cause me emotional pain. And this is why most times I don't know how to build solid relationship with people, because once they start stressing me emotionally, I just cut them off. Like, you can't be stressing me, like, So I was diagnosed 2 years ago with anxiety and depression. I've actually shot the video that I was going to post. The video is still in my draft on YouTube. I was on medication. So that period with what happened, made my issue worse. Thank God I was in therapy. Fast forward to May, my husband was applying for different jobs, doing everything. The good thing is that his manager knows that he was on sponsorship and all of that, and he has just 6 months to apply for ILR. His manager was now reaching out to different teams in the same organization, like, please hire Peter, he's good, he was applying to different companies, he was desperate. At that time, we didn't even care about earnings, like salary. All we just wanted was sponsorship, because if you want to apply for your ILR, you still need to provide your COS number. You need to get a letter from your employer to say that you're still working there. May 15th, luckily, he got a job offer May 15th. His manager was so kind enough. They paid him while he was still interviewing within the company. They did not proceed with his redundancy. So what they now did was put him on an unpaid leave, because I remember I made a post on TikTok and people were asking questions. The new company issued him a new COS and everything, so he had to do his visa again, but this time around he only did visa for himself. But me and our daughter, he did not, because we still have valid visa that would expire in 2026, so we still have more than enough time. So he just did change of employer and did his own new visa, and he started working with them. The job he got was not in London. The job he got was in Leeds. In terms of pay, he was downgraded. I mean, we were desperate. We didn't care about pay. Even if they're going to pay 20,000, as long as they're going to sponsor. But again, you have to meet the salary threshold. So in fact, that period, he interviewed for HMRC, interviewed for Deloitte. He got HMRC job offer. HMRC job was in Scotland, and the Deloitte one was in London, but it was a low pay as well. He got the offer as well. After he has accepted this one, I think few weeks later, he got those two offers. You see how God is working. And that same period that my husband lost his job, we were going through these challenges, and there was opening in my organization, like promotion. So I applied for it. I mean, I was going through hell. I was applying for promotion. I needed that promotion. Maybe if my salary should go up a bit, my company would sponsor me. I spoke to my HR for sponsorship. They said they don't sponsor my role, as it's not hard to fill role. So, and it's mostly techie side of IT that they sponsor. So there was no hope for me, but at least I could earn more money in terms of salary. That same period, after my interview, they bounced me. Yep, they bounced me. I mean, I did not get the promotion. Luckily, a few weeks later, my husband got another job with sponsorship, which was great. So now we have to move to Leeds. We started looking for apartments in Leeds. After that, for a weird reason, I was reached back again by my employer to tell me that, oh, they are willing to give me the promotion. They came back and gave me the promotion, but based on my performance, that would determine if the job will be made permanent or not. So I accepted that and I started training in London. So I was training in my office at Croydon, and I was being paid because the higher salary, the promotion salary. So I started earning better, which brought my salary up a bit, and with overtime, it was very good. So that was resolved. One thing I want to tell you is that you see that few months, that phase of my life was the toughest. That is the background of the story, but the main testimony is that we got our indefinite leave to remain September 3rd, 2025. So your girl is officially a UK permanent resident. So we applied on the 26th of August. We went to do our capturing 27th because we wanted to do everything sharp. We did not apply for our daughter. Then they replied to us on the 28th, which is on Friday, that why didn't we apply for our daughter, and they want to confirm if we're going to apply for our daughter and when. We then replied to the Home Office caseworker that our daughter passport has expired and we're going to apply for her once she gets a new valid passport. We attach evidence of the Nigerian embassy and capturing dates and picture of her expired passport. On Tuesday, they responded by granting myself and my husband permanent leave to remain. So I posted the video on the news on Instagram, and I got a lot of questions, and I'll be answering them in today's video. Okay, one of the questions is, does traveling outside the UK frequently affect your ILR due to sick parents? Maybe. So the thing is, as long as you do not exhaust the 180 days in the space of 5 years, I think you are good. So make sure if you're traveling out of the UK that you did not exceed the 180 days in the space of 5 years. I didn't really travel much. I've never been to Nigeria since I left. I left Nigeria 2020 November. Also, I've only traveled out of the UK 3 times, and they were on vacation, which were mostly 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. So I've not spent a lot. Another thing again I realized is that, for example, most people think that, let's say for example, you came into the UK November 2020, which is when I came into the UK, that you can only apply for ILR November 2020. That is a lie. So if your visa was granted the 25th September 2020, you can apply for your ILR 26th August 2020, which is what we did. The 5 years continuous resident, it doesn't mean from when you enter the UK. No, it was from when you are granted the leave to enter the UK. So you know, when you are granted leave to enter the UK, you have 3 months window to enter into the UK. If not, it would expire. Whether you travel the first week or the first month when the visa was issued, or you traveled the second month or the third month, you can still apply your ILR earlier. So instead of waiting till the exact date you enter the UK, you could have used that month to get your ILR. But look at me, our visa was given to us on the 25th September 2020. I entered the UK 28th November 2020. So that's September, October, November. That's like 2 months. But I qualify for indefinite leave to remain August, because you can apply 28 days before. Always calculate your residency, like always calculate your qualified period from the date you were issued your visa, not from the date you entered the UK. So there were a lot of confusion about this. People were saying, oh no, it's when you enter the UK. You know, like I understand that when you read gov.uk, some of the things, the way they word what they say is a bit confusing. But if you do more research and maybe check some of these lawyers, immigration lawyers who have this explanation, they would break it down for you. I use one website to check my qualifying period. If you'd like me to share the link with you based on your comment, I would share the link in the comments, because that was what I used to calculate our qualifying period. Do not waste extra 2 months, 3 months before applying. Do not use the date you entered the UK. Use the date you got your visa and 28 days before it. So imagine if I had to wait till November. We're in September, and that would be in 2 months before I would have gotten my ILR, but I've gotten it now. Another question someone asked is the list of documents needed for ILR. When you are processing your ILR application, you get a document checklist, but that's after you've paid. But if you want to know the document before your application, of course, I'm going to share that with you. So about your ILR, is it exactly 5 years before you apply considering skilled worker visa? Well, I just explained it. So it is not exactly 5 years. It is from 28 days before your visa was issued. So these are all the documents the main applicant and the dependent submitted. So I'm going to be telling you the checklist of all the documents we both submitted as applicants and dependents. Applicant 1, which is my husband, he's the main applicant, and applicant 2, which is me, the dependent. So evidence you need to submit is, you should use your supporting document checklist as guide to the document you need to self-upload. Okay, you'll be able to upload copies of your documents on the commercial partner website. These are the mandatory documents: your passport or travel document for the dependents, which is me, that's for Miss Faith, and passport issued by Nigeria for Mr. Peter, which is my husband. Then if you have added a spouse or partner application, also submit evidence of cohabitation. So my husband needed to submit evidence that we've lived together for 2 years. which is council tax. Okay, any of the bill, but we use council tax for that one. Then for my husband, evidence for leaving the UK. So because we traveled, I think last year, to Serbia for our family holiday, so he puts that. So the evidence he submitted was hotel booking, flights. For Serbia, you don't need visa, so he didn't submit that. So it was hotel booking and flight tickets. That's what he submitted for the absence, including me, because I traveled more. I had to submit hotel booking and flight tickets for all my trips to Spain, Albania, and Serbia. So also consent from Home Office to request verification checks. So there was a consent that was sent to us. So we printed out the consent, and he signed, I signed. So it was like 2 consents. There's a 2 consent letter that would be, you have to print out and you would sign. Then declaration signed, which is the second consent. So he signed, I signed. So your most recent payslip, that's for my husband, not me. So he submitted the most recent payslip, no more than 28 days. So usually, like if you're applying for your ILR in September, you have to submit your most recent payslip, which will be August payslip. My husband had to submit his COS, certificate of sponsorship, number for his visa. Also, he submitted a letter from his employer stating that he still works with the organization and they still require him. Everything will come with the SEO code, that's the sponsorship, and confirmation of letter. And if you go on maternity or paternity leave, you need to show evidence as well. But because my husband did not go on any leave, paternity leave, so he didn't need to submit all your passports, your previous passport, travel document, national ID card that you used to travel or to remain in the UK. So we scanned all our passport. He scanned his passport back and front, all the pages. He did the same for me and uploaded it. So yeah, and those are the evidences submitted. Okay, it's quite straightforward. Once you've paid, you get your checklist, and as long as you have everything you submit, you're good to go. Anyway, this is my story and my testimony. This is the longest video I've ever shot, but again, I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.